This is a public service announcement brought to you in part by J3.
Tell me I'm a realist.
J3 is a realist and can say what the he wants on his channel.
Tell me to get ghosts.
If you don't like it, you can take this L and get ghosts.
Tell me to kiss my ass.
Little did you know, upon pushing the dislike button, you have just kissed his ass.
Tell him there's no room for weakness.
There is no room for whackness on J3 Entertainment, so if you fit the description, step off. Anything else?
Yeah, don't get teabagged. What's good out there? I'm glad to see you guys chilling with your boy J3 while I get into this All Eyez on Me movie review. Yes, for those that don't know, your boy is a big fan of biopics. I love historic movies and I also love origin films. So when I heard they were doing this movie, I was like, yes, we finally gonna get this real Tupac story, they say. You know what I mean? So, this movie, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I was really excited for this. But I also worried about it because I understand that they do like to water down a lot of films. Shout outs to TLC story, shout outs to Whitney Houston story and Aaliyah story. They water down a lot of stuff, so I was really worried about that going into this film. So you guys are gonna get the good, the bad, and the ugly from J3 on this one. I'm gonna break everything down how J3 feels about this film, so you guys can get that J3 experience. Now let's go ahead and get into this review. This movie is directed by a director named Benny Boom, starring Demetrius Shipp Jr., who plays Tupac Shakur. Dana Guerrera, she plays Afena Shakur, his mother, and Cat Grams, is it Grams or Grammer? Graham, who plays Jada Pinkett. So let's get into the story. This story basically takes place with Tupac being incarcerated, and after the rape case, he got like 18 months or something. So he's incarcerated and he goes to this young black brother, and he's like, I want to tell you guys my story. I want you guys to get the real deal behind Tupac Shakur. So you guys, I don't want nobody to make nothing fake. So we start off with that, and he starts basically off in the beginning with his mother, Afena, who gets out of prison and pregnant with Tupac Shakur at the time, and we see him gradually getting to like 3 or 4 years old, watching the Black Panther speak and everything like that. Then you see him like around 9 or 10 or something like that, watching his mother hide his stepfather and everything like that. We see the hustle and she's struggling with with him and his sister. And then we see him get shipped to Baltimore. They go to Baltimore. He grow up like 17 years old. We watch that little buzz with him and Jada, and then they send him off to Oakland real quick. And then we watch like the first murder movie, like going in the first day he sees the first murder. It's like, oh my God, here we go. Then they send him off over here. He's a Digital Underground. And then after that, he said, I want to be on my own. Then he gets caught up, and then now he's in New York. He's hanging with Biggie Smalls, and then some stuff goes down. He gets shot 5 times. Now he's on the ground. Then that goes in. He gets arrested for the rape case he's dealing with. And then we send him right back to where he's at when he's back in jail, and he's talking to the guy, and Suge Knight shows up, and then the rest is history. You watch him in the death row trials, and then you see him get killed. That's the movie, y'all. That's the movie. Sounds fulfilling, but done poorly. The story, I'm gonna start off with this one. I'm gonna start with the story. Tupac has a very interesting story. Tupac is one of those legends who died so young, too early. He accomplished so much in a little bit of time, and only a legend could do something like that. Not many people could do that in this world. You know what I mean? Sometimes people take years before they even can become something. He became so much in so little. I mean, by the time he got to Digital Underground, he was in juice. He playing Bishop, man. He was tight. That movie right there is legendary. That's a great film. You know what I mean? And Tupac basically is playing himself in a sense. Like, man, he was cold in that movie. So the story was choppy, too choppy as a matter of fact. The story, it felt incomplete. It felt not natural. It felt fake. It felt made up. This movie is not a true story. This is a movie with true events, things that happen, but no one can say that this is what actually happened. It's a lot of ear hustling going on in this movie. People heard things. People saw little something, but no one was actually in the room. That's what this movie felt like. It felt made up completely with true events and true people, real people. It just was not a true story. It's kind of like how Titanic was. People for years thought that was Titanic. No. True event, love story. That's exactly what this Tupac movie felt like. And it's just, it was not authentic. Biggest problem with this story. The story was supposed to make you feel for Tupac. They took so much of the positive factor of Tupac out of this film. It's a shame. They gave you nothing but negative. From day one with his mother, they just showed negative stuff. They didn't show his mother working hard, supporting 2 children. You know, his dad left, so he had his stepfather, but his stepfather couldn't do much because he was an activist, you know, rebellious Black Panther brother, and FBI out to get him. You know what I mean? They didn't show the grind of his mother, so we can learn that respect, that the respect he had for his mother and why he had it for her. Not because she was his mother, but she was a strong woman, and I felt we needed to see that so we can understand Tupac even more. You know what I mean? There's so many things about this movie that just took away from Tupac. Educational factor in my eyes. When Tupac was in school, he was an outstanding student, A+ student. This guy was at another level, and I felt they needed to show that. And I understood why they didn't show that, because they don't want other young Black kids to understand that this man who did bad things though was freaking genius, and he was smart, and he can write like no other. I mean, they teach classes overseas with Tupac's log, like his journal, like, you know what I mean? That's a textbook now. Like, it's crazy. So I felt they needed to show that. They needed to show how his mother really wanted him to learn everything he can possibly learn. Learn the laws, learn Shakespeare, learn history, just learn as much as you can, because with that power, no one can strip you from it. You know what I mean? Once you learn that, it puts you on a whole nother level. And I felt that they should have showed that in this movie. They took that away from us. They also took away the Jada Pinkett style of the movie. Jada Pinkett was really close to Tupac Shakur, and they took that out of this story. They took everything of it, all that elements, they just crumbled it up and threw it away and said, we're not gonna go with this part. We're gonna just go to negative stuff. So they went back to more negative things. Then that from birth to about 18, they just chopped it all up. Just chopped it up real quick. Show you little Jada. She, hi, how you doing? His mother, you know, she's struggling, she depressed, but we never knew exactly why. You know what I mean? I assumed things, but we never got why. You know what I mean? And that sucks in this story, because first thing they do is, first chance they get, they said, okay, he's Digital Underground. He did the movie Juice. We're in New York City. He meets this drug lord, gangster dude in New York. He's hanging with him. The guy that got to play Biggie was terrible. You sure, Pac, you want to hang with this dude? Oh, the character development of the icons I've seen in this movie: Snoop Dogg, Biggie, Daz Dillinger, Dr. Dre. They were not portrayed properly, man. Those fools look weak. That wasn't them, man. It felt like a parody to a certain degree with a lot of these characters. But anyway, so you go in, you see Pac get shot 5 times. He gets in his rape case. Now he's in jail, and it's like they're just showing negative things about him. Like when he shot the cop, the undercover cop or whatever, when the cops were off duty and all that stuff. They just showing all the bad stuff in this story. They didn't give you the good stuff about Pac in this story. Just negative. And I hate the fact that's what we saw. You know what I mean? Yes, Tupac had demons, and he did bad things, and things came to him that shouldn't have came to him, but he dealt with it in the best way he could. You guys forgetting Tupac was 25 when he died. He was a young man. So yes, he was going to do things that young men do, especially at that caliber in his life. This guy was a superstar at 23. You know what I mean? Like, Tupac was a superstar at 23. So yeah, you're gonna get in trouble. You know what I mean? And especially if you're with, at that time, you know, Death Row. You had Ruthless Record, Death Row. You had the East Coast blowing up. You know, Bad Boy, Def Jam. You had a lot of thug type mentalities going on. You had the East Coast rap. You know what I mean? Those are hustlers. You know what I mean? You got Nas and them doing their thing, and then you got on the West Side, you got Too Short. You got, you know, E40, all that stuff going on. You got NWA, Ice Cubes, and the rest is history. So I understand the trouble factor. You know what I mean? Around that gangbang was big back then. So I see him getting in trouble, but I felt they shouldn't have just concentrated too much on his trouble. They should have concentrated on, in this story, they should have concentrated on Tupac. Show the positive side about him. Show the things he did. Make us understand him. Let's see, you know what I mean? Like, for instance, before a rape case, they should have showed some positive things, and then showed him get into a situation he didn't want to be in because of certain circumstances. You know what I mean? It's like it was negative after negative after negative, and then he'll get talked to by someone positive, and then he'll be like, okay, and then go to negative, and then negative, and it made Tupac in this movie look like he's a contradicting dude. Like, he never stuck to what he said. He knew these things, but he would just wanted to have fun. You know what I mean? And I felt that was not paying him any justice in this film. This movie should not have been 2 hours and 30 minutes. This should have been a deep biopic where we got at least 2 hours for 4 days of 8-hour film about Tupac. This could have been a great HBO special where you would have went Tupac Shakur and gave me a mini series of Tupac Shakur, the story, and I think it would have been perfect. Give me 12 episodes of this, an hour and 30 minutes each, something like that. This would have been great for this type of person, because he is a legend and he deserves that. The story was terrible, y'all. It wasn't fun. When I watched Suge Knight, it was like a parody. Snoop Dogg was like a parody. It wasn't Snoop. Like, why everybody gotta talk like this? You know, SNOOP. Like, that's just retarded to me. Just act. Be Snoop. Create Snoop. You don't have to pretend to look and be like him, give him a funny wig. You just look like a joke. It didn't look authentic. It just looked like it was a joke and they were laughing in Tupac's face. I don't like that about these characters. Let's get into Tupac's character, Demetrius. I think he did okay. For what this movie was bringing to the table, he did the best I think he could have did. Because this movie was such a Lifetime film, like it should have been on Lifetime. I understand certain things about it. Like, I thought Demetrius should have really became Tupac. You can look like somebody, you can move your legs like them, but that don't make you them. When you own a movie like this, you have to become Tupac. And he never became Tupac to me. He was always an actor pretending to be Tupac. I would have loved to see him rap Tupac verses. I would have loved to see him show the grind of Tupac in this movie. This movie should have showed Tupac at his purest. You should have showed Tupac when Tupac was in jail. They showed him get beat up by Rick Ross cops. You know what I mean? The warden and all them. You see him get abused. You see him on the jail yard. People ain't respecting him and everything like that. And I understand to a certain degree a lot of that probably did go down. However, this is Tupac we're talking about. Tupac was getting mad respect in jail too. He was getting abused, possibly, but I felt they should have showed the growth of him in the prison cell. You know what I mean? I think it would have been great to see Tupac with a journal in his hand, writing rhymes, writing stories, expressing himself while being locked up. You know what I mean? I would have loved to see something like that, but they failed to show that. They just showed this man in jail the whole time, getting beat up, degraded, trying to make us feel something when there's nothing to feel. But we would have really felt something. We saw Tupac sitting there writing the journal like, man, I might be behind these bars, but my mind will never be locked up to this corrupted system. You know what I mean? It would have been great seeing that, because you knew he knows it. He knows the law. He knows it. He knows how everything goes down. And they took that away from us. We didn't get a chance to see Pac at his purest. We got images, but we didn't see his purest. When he got out of jail, they should show how hard working he was. Them little snippets they did, he go do a track here and there. No. When Tupac was about that, he was serious. He is rumored to be one of the most hardest working artists in history when it comes down to music. When he gets his music, he's there. You guys, I hope you guys don't forget when he put out Dr. Dre said, man, I'm out here every day, all day, 24/7. I'm out here trying to make these albums. This fool Dr. Dre upstairs with that white man. I'm trying to make. He was on it. I mean, come on, man. The first double album, rap album. Like, come on, bro. Like, this fool is about that life. He was really an artist. And this movie didn't show that. It showed hustle, criminal activity. More nigga shit, which I do not like. Demetrius did the best he could do, but I felt he should have embraced it. Should have showed it. And I know it's probably not his fault, it's what he had. You know what I mean? But I think that would have made this movie that much better. You know what I mean? The performances, when he was performing as Tupac, it was Tupac's voice. He should have learned those rhymes and should have rapped them live, like as if he was Tupac. He could have changed his voice up a little bit, you know what I mean? Could go a little higher if he wanted to, but be Tupac now. I don't want to hear Tupac rapping his own song while you pretend to be him. I want you to act. I want you to get on that stage and be an actor. I want you to be Tupac. And I hate the fact that they took that away from us through him. And he's gonna get the wrath. You know what I mean? And he did the best he could do. He really did. Afina Shakur, Dana played her, Michonne. Also, she did the best she could do in this film. They took a lot away from Tupac's mother. I know for a fact Tupac's mother was probably one of them. Tupac's mother was strong. I mean strong, y'all. And for them to water her down like that, no justice in that. You gotta remember, she was a Black Panther and she was well educated. And she made her kids also well educated. And she made sure they knew more than she knew. But she was strong. And it was a scene where he saw his mom on drugs. And it didn't match up. Because if we had got a chance to see Afina at that strong point where she was, you know, that's mama, man. She's strong. If we got a chance to see that and then see her go to them drugs, we would have felt some way. We'd have been like, oh, dude, we would have saw Pac like, man, what is this? Oh, it would have been so emotional. We would have been in there probably crying. Because this is just the real. You would have saw a strong woman be broken. And I can honestly speak for that. You know what I mean? My grandmother's very strong. She's strong. And I'm watching her in her old age and she ain't the same. And when you think about it, you're like, it's sad. You know what I mean? So I understand a certain point in that writing that should have been there. Because if I had wrote that, I would have thought about my own grandmother. You know what I mean? I would have thought about my own grandmother. Sit there and be like, okay, this is how I feel. Because when I think about it, like I'm sad now. When I think about it, this is what I want the audience to feel. This is where that comes to be authentic. She did her best. She did the best she can do. Jada Pinkett, I feel that they did her no justice in this movie. She wasn't even really involved. They just showed her in the trailer to get people to come in and be like, Jada's in this movie, okay? Because we all know Tupac and Jada were like best friends. They were beyond best friends. They're soulmates. You know what I mean? And it would have been great to base the movie, in my eyes, around Jada and Afina. Tupac's story, but those two. So you have Tupac as the whole, but you have those two telling the story, and then you could throw in Suge Knight's part at the end. I think that would have been the perfect film because Tupac, only people that knew Tupac the best was Jada and his mother. You can say his sister, possibly, but then you would kind of put his sister with his mother. But those two knew him. They knew him. They knew his darkest secrets. They knew who he was. You know what I mean? So I felt that they took that away. Jada got no justice in this movie. They added scenes in, and she'll be here, then she's gone. You guys gotta remember, Tupac and Jada grew up in Baltimore, right? So they both left schools and became famous. Tupac became an actor, rapper. She became an actress. You know what I mean? She had like 2-3 movies out at that time. She was in that Tales of the Crypt movie, and she was in Low Down Dirty Shame. And I think she was about to do, before he died, she was about to do Set It Off and all that stuff like that. So she was an actress. She was on a different world, and it would have been great to see them come back together in Hollywood. Like, oh man, boom, 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 let's wrap it up. They showed a quick scene about it, and then it was it. Then it went back to big booty bitches and shit. Like, it was like, dude, what are we doing, man? Why do we keep doing this to ourselves? You taking it away from the characters. Character development was terrible, man. The guy that played Suge Knight, I thought he had the size, but he didn't have the Suge Knight heart. He was not Suge Knight to me. I don't give a freak what nobody say. That wasn't Suge. That was some watered down Suge Knight shit. If you're gonna be Suge, you gotta be Suge. You gotta be him. You gotta be him. I remember Suge said in the Strata Compton dude made him look like a marshmallow. And the dude that, if Suge Knight said it made him look like a marshmallow, this dude really was a marshmallow. This fool was melted because that dude in that movie did more. This guy didn't do nothing. He was just standing around calling shots. Yeah, beat him up, man. Hey, man, I want to talk to you for a minute, homie. What is this? This is trash. You know what I mean? So you Snoop Dogg wasn't right. Biggie wasn't right. I don't even think Puff Daddy was in it. Thank God. He probably have been light skinned or something. It was like a parody when it came to other characters. Completely. It became fake. It became unreal. Not authentic. Character developments were trash. Music. We all love Tupac songs, but I felt that they didn't want to give us real Tupac. They only gave us the media Tupac. They gave us the songs, the hits. They should have played a lot of scenes that he had. He has a lot of songs that relate to those scenes, and they're not the hits on the album. There's songs that are lyrically on a whole nother atmosphere. They're out of this world. You know what I mean? I felt they should have played those songs because, number one, yes, the audience may not know those songs, but it's an ultimate opportunity to unleash a different era. And by me saying it, it's like, if you play a song in a movie like this, a lot of people might not have understood then, but by watching the scene, they'll understand now, which will allow them to go back and buy Tupac's music again. You see what I'm saying? Man, dude, I never thought about that song like that. Man, that was deep. You know what I mean? It would have opened a whole new world for us. We would have got a chance to feel a little bit more Pac. It would have been more authentic. I mean, damn, all the songs he played were his hits. Like, those all the songs you wrote. Tupac was writing songs. I heard he had like a journal with thousands of songs. Like, for real. You know what I mean? So it's like, what is this? You didn't even give me the music I needed. It's, number one, the music wasn't authentic because the guy that Demetrius wasn't rapping his songs. Okay. All right, he wasn't doing that. That's a thumbs down right there because I'm not believing this. And then another thing, they never completed the songs. They only sang one verse. One verse, end. One verse, end. It caused the audience not to engage with the songs. I felt the audience with the acting and the story should have been more engaged. When Tupac music come on, everybody should be rapping his verses. This is a gathering, y'all. Yes, Tupac is dead and he's not around, but we're going to watch this movie because we all love and was big fans of Tupac Shakur. So I felt that the audience should have been rapping these verses. But the problem is they wouldn't even allow us to get into it. Because the story was so bad, you couldn't even get into it. You're like, okay, what next? Give me some more. All right, you people had enough? All right, give me some more. You know, it was all over the place with that. Character development sucked. Story was bad. Music was always good, but they should have gave us more. What else? This is the movie, but this is where it really gets bad for me. All right, I already spoke on the negative part. Here's another negative factor for this film. In the movie, all the white folks were negative towards Tupac. That come out right. Everybody that was against Tupac in the movie, quote unquote, was white. That ain't right. That's not fact. That's fiction. That's making a problem. So you got to look at it when you go out and you go and watch this movie, and you're of a different culture, and you see that, you're like, damn, white people did not like Tupac. That ain't true. You was looking at the same old people who didn't like rap in the first place. Then they showed the older black women going against Tupac. He talk about bitches. So a lot of people talk about bitches. You show all the negative people going towards Tupac instead of showing the positive factor. They should have showed the positive factor of Tupac. Tupac used to walk down the street. I stay over here, man. I grew up in the jungles. Tupac go over to the Crenshaw Mall. You know what I mean? And What's up, man? It's my son. Come on. Go over there. Alright. So, it's my son. So, Tupac, you know what I mean? He used to go to neighborhoods, y'all. He used to do his thing. You know what I mean? And everybody would see it. You see him, he was all about the people, you know what I mean? And they didn't give us that. They took that away from us. You know what I mean? They took away, they didn't show the Latinos going up to Tupac. The Latinos love Tupac Shakur, but they didn't show it. They took that all away from us. They didn't give us none of that. They took everything away. They made it a black and white thing, and I hate the fact that they did that. They should have kept that 100. Everybody liked Tupac. Tupac was loved throughout the globe, but they only made it look like just the black people, the thugs, the gangbangers that related to Tupac. Tupac was related to a lot of people. We can relate to him. His stories was real. You know what I mean? And they took that away from us. They took every bit of that away from us, and it sucks. I hate that about this film. With that being said, guys, I don't want to keep going on. Any good redeeming factors of this film? At least they tried. I'll say that. But it's watered down, y'all. This movie should be on Lifetime. If you want to learn some stuff about Tupac, I wouldn't even say read the books. I heard them books is lying. Try to meet one of his, talk to his sister or something. Try to meet somebody authentic, you know what I mean? Try to meet somebody, because it would be great if you were able to, experience in that way, because the movie really sucked, But I'm gonna give this movie a D plus. It's a D plus. It's not really worth it. It was terrible. I wasn't feeling it one bit. Yeah, it's very sad, man. I really wanted more out of this movie. I wanted everybody to feel Tupac the way I felt for Tupac. I wanted them to be fans of this, and it really just diluted everything that he stood for, just to make trouble. You know what I mean? You want to show the women, I gotta say this before I go. The women they had in there was like 2015 hoes, and they had them in 1990. Like, they had tattoos, full body tattoos. This shit, nah, what are you doing? The costume, all that shit was bad, man. It was a bad movie. D plus film. That's all I got, guys. My son, he wants to hang with me and everything like that. I want to say happy birthday to Tupac Shakur, man. Rest in peace. Also, Father's Day is this weekend, guys. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there, y'all. Shout out to my Patreon family. You guys are the greatest for donating, helping me keep my channel afloat. Shout out to all the subscribers on Team J3. J3 out.